Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do some vocals and try to get our song all finished up. Uh, what I'd like to do is go ahead and get some settings and everything prepared for the session of vocals. Now, vocals are typically a different kind of a feel for recording because there's a handful of different spots you got to look for levels. So your first set of levels is going to be on your audio interface. If you are using a dynamic microphone, you do not need phantom power, which is usually a plus 48 button somewhere on your interface. You do not need that if you are on a dynamic microphone. You do, however, need it if you are using a condenser microphone. And that's what I am using today. So that is the example that I am going to use. If you are using a dynamic microphone, you can just go ahead and plug your microphone straight into your interface. Do not turn on the plus 48. And if you are using a condenser microphone, you are going to plug your microphone into your interface and turn on the 48 volt button. Now, first and foremost, we are going to go ahead and hit our mix button down on the bottom right, and we're going to go into show inputs, and that's going to bring our levels back up. And the level knob on your interface, we're going to turn it up until the vocals, your normal singing voice, whatever you're about to sing, is in between -12 and -6, just like we did with the guitar. Everything I do, that's where I get my levels from. Now, you might see mine is kind of going crazy here at the bottom at -36. That is because my speaking microphone is different than my singing microphone. The singing microphone is off to the corner. I have already checked that my levels are at -6, or in between -6 and -12. So you're going to go ahead and turn the knob on your interface, your gain knob, until it is in between -6 and -12. Now that is important. Trying to get vocals is is kind of tough sometimes. So mainly because, like, for example, in the space that I have to get up and go to the microphone, sing a little, record it, come back, check the level, make sure it's in between 6 and 12, and if it's not, I turn it up until I am in between -6 and -12. And then we come back and we're good to go after that. Now, even after you are done that, you may have issues with your vocals being too quiet. Every microphone is treated differently, and sometimes you plug one in and it works perfectly fine, and the volume is sitting just right, and you can just record all day. Other times, however, maybe there's not enough gain being given to the microphone, or there's a myriad of different reasons why a microphone might be a little too quiet. Which is why, once we've gotten our levels over here at the input, we know our level in is going to be really good. Now we need to make sure that we can hear ourselves over the mix. So if you're singing and you don't hear yourself and you want to hear yourself more, do not turn up the vocal tracking. You're going to go over to this main no Vox bus that we created in the beginning on the template, and we are going to turn that down instead. So I'm going to turn mine down to about -4.6, -5-ish, and that should give me enough room with the microphone I am using. The next thing we're going to do is go to our vocals track on the console, and we're going to double click that channel strip that we did. We have it set to male vocals too. So that gives us a little bit of a boost as well when we're recording our vocals. See, a lot of times the reason that your vocals are quiet sometimes, mostly in my case, I don't know about yours, is that we have all of these other guitar amp plugins running. And having these Ampere plugins running, you're boosting the signal of the guitars and the basses that you have recorded already. So to compensate for that, I use my own version of a guitar amp plugin on the vocals, which is the channel strip. So I have this on to be able to hear myself. And once I'm done recording, we'll shut that off. We don't need it anymore. It's not that big of a deal. But during the process of recording, I do have this on in the mix bus on the vocal tracks bus so that I can hear myself recording. So now that that is out of the way, we've got our channel strip on, we've checked our levels, everything should be pretty good to go. We are making sure our green Z button is on. We are going to save, always save. Then we are going to go to the main screen and click our record button, and that will start preparing our vocals to be recorded. Now with the guitars, we hit the record button and we let it loop around until we got one really good track. And then we took that track and made it a left or a right, and that was it. With vocals, it's a little bit different, or at least I do it a little bit different. Considering I have to get up and down quite often to get the takes, I tend to just stand up there and record all the takes at once and then nitpick them later on. So we're going to hit the record button. We're going to run through until we get what we believe is three really, really good takes of the vocal we're going to sing. And then we'll do some fun stuff with it after we're done recording them. So that is going to be right now. My record arm is on. I can hear myself. So we're going to hit the record button and let it loop around the blue loop that we have created in previous episodes. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
Okay, so now that we have some takes, I just recorded until I thought there were 3 really good takes. I didn't just record 3 takes, I recorded as many as it took until I thought I had some really good ones, which if you see, the lines start getting a little closer together at the bottom, which means I'm practiced a little bit more. I got my warm-up, and it's starting to look pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 that look kind of close to each other, which currently it looks like the 3 bottom ones. This number 6 might be a contender. Number 4 might be a contender. And we're gonna pick one to be our main vocal for the set. So we're gonna hit play. We're gonna X out a number 2. Number 3. Let's keep our contenders up here. Number 5. Yeah, that's a good little pool of them. So we got a handful to kind of go through. So we're going to solo one of them and hit play and see how it sounds. And just go through the entire set until we find one we decide is going to be our main vocal. Okay, I think I've rather decided that track 6, take 6 is going to be the main. So we click and drag all the way over, and that now becomes the track up top. We're going to make sure none of our solo buttons are on because we don't want to accidentally solo something. Hit the 3 little lines over there, and then that goes away. You can always get it back by hitting 3 lines again. But right now I want to hide it. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to right click in this empty area here, and we are going to duplicate track. Now keep in mind, when you duplicate a track, the way I just did, you do not get the takes on the new track. It's still up here on track number 5, not track number 6. So we're going to take that and we're going to drag it down. We're going to hear it.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
Okay, that sounded pretty good. So we're going to go in here, we're going to go to track 6. We're going to shut off that plugin because we no longer need it. Because that's where the mix step is going to come in, and that's going to be what we do after all of these recordings, is we're going to mix it a little bit. So right now we're just going to shut it off and see where we're sitting at with the vocals, with the volume.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
A little quiet. Let's boost it up just 1 or 2 dB.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
Okay, now that we have the main track, we have to rename that. It's no longer a tracking. It is now the vocal main. And we're going to drag that down onto the bottom there. That's usually where I keep my vocals. Everybody does it differently. And I'll go ahead and, if you hit bounce, if I can find my bounce. Oh, if you hit bounce up there, it's in the events. It'll change it purple. If you don't hit bounce, you can always just click on the track, right click on the track, and then change it from here. It makes no... we're good either way. So we're going to go through those vocal tracks again. We are not going to pick number 6 this time. We're going to pick a different track, and that will be what is known as a double. We're going to double the vocals to get them sounding more full. So we're going to pick one that sounds rather good with the main vocals. So we're going to hit play, listen through all of them but 6. We're not using 6 because we already used this one for our vocal main, and I don't want to get rid of it just in case we need to go back and adjust something later on. So it's going to stay there. We're just not going to click it. So I'm going to hit play. We're going to figure this out and find a new one that sounds good. Starting with 4. Okay, it looks like number 10 is going to be the contender here. So we're going to highlight that to bring it up. Turn off our solo button. 3 lines. And then we are going to right click again under in this area, empty space, and duplicate track again. We're going to drag that down. We are going to find it in here and shut that off. Channel strips off now. Bounce and drag it underneath vocal main, and we are going to name this one vocal backing with a big old L. So now you have a vocal backing left, and to make it a left, officially in a left, we're going to hit the mix button. We're going to find the vocal backing left, and we are going to pan it all the way to the left. And then we're going to go again, listen for another track for a right side vocal backing. And we are not using 10 or 6 now because they've already been used. So we got 3 more choices to go. Okay, I liked number 4 the best. So we're going to click and drag. Okay, and then we are going to duplicate track again. Drag it down. Change name. Big R. Bounce. And bring it down. And again, go back in your mix and remove the channel strip, because you no longer need it. So we can actually remove them entirely. You just right click and remove. And there you go. That is your vocal. Oh, we got to turn it to right as well. Now typically for my vocals, I turn these down about 6 to 12. It really depends. You're gonna have to use your ears. 6 to 12 dB lower than the main vocal. They're a backing vocal. They're not meant to be really heard. So let's see how it sounds at negative 10 dB for the backing tracks.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
I'm gonna notch it down to 12. 12.5.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
I'm gonna bring our main vocal up a little.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
Okay, and then we are going to take those together and right click in this empty space. And we're going to make a bus, add bus. And we're going to click, instead of going to main, they're going to go to this bus. Bus 1, bus 1, bus 1. And we're going to rename bus 1 Vox bus. And really the only reason that we have this bus here is to adjust the volumes independently as well. And the last step that we have to do is we're going to put all of these to 0. We're going to level out the main no Vox and the Vox bus together to get them sounding kind of right. So we're going to start the song, get the levels right, and then that should be the end of this video.
I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me. I would have wished you well, but I don't think you'd believe me.
Okay, the volume's sounding pretty good there. So that's going to be the end of this one, and we will come back and start mixing, I believe, next week. So next week's we'll start looking at some mixing plugins and how to sharpen this thing up a little bit. I'll see you then.